Hello everyone, welcome to Cloud Institution. So we are the best cloud training providers in Bangalore, and we are also giving online and offline classes. If you would like to book your slot for any kind of a cloud courses, please reach out to us on this number. Okay, so let's get started. So today we are going to see some one of the Amazon Web Services feature, so which is Apache HTTPD installation on EC2 instance. Okay, so we are going to see what is Apache and Apache HTTPD installation, and we're going to launch some kind of instances and all these things we are going to do. We're going to work on this. So if you can see the next slide. So we're going to do this particular experiment on the the service called Amazon EC2, and we already discussed that what is Amazon EC2 in the previous sessions. So I'm going to continue. And what is Apache HTTPD? So the HTTPD stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol daemon. Okay, so it's kind of a HTTPD means Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and this is the D is defined as the daemon. So what do you mean by daemon? So daemon is kind of a service that usually runs in any kind of operating system. So that will so that's going to be that will enable the particular services for the web servers. Okay, so HTTPD is nothing but the web server, and that will be installed in any kind of operating system, so that will serve the HTTP request for any incoming request, right? So it can also work on 80 and so 443 ports. So what is 80? So 80 is a HTTP port, and 443 is HTTPS port. Okay, so what's the difference between these two? So port 80 will be served the HTTP traffic without having a secure connection, and HTTPS will be serving a secure connection. Okay, so we're going to see all these things in a minute. So we are going to go next, and we are going to see what are the things we are going to see as part of demo. Okay, so as part of demo, we are going to see our first, and we are going to launch an EC2 instance. Okay, and then this is going to be Linux instance, and then the second step is going to be so install HTTPD and start the service. Okay, so on the EC2 instance. So the third one is going to be, okay, so to create a simple HTML file and then test the functionality of the web server, whether it is working or not. Okay, this is what something which we are going to see as part of our demo. Okay, so now I'm going to I'm going to create a I'm going to the EC2 dashboard. Okay, so if you can see the EC2 dashboard, so we have already seen that how the EC2 dashboard looks like, right? So we can see there is no instances are running at this moment. So we are going to launch instance. We are going to create a new instance, which is the Linux instance. So now I'm going to click on launch instance. So I'm going to do a instance name called Cloud Institution. Okay, so HTTPD. So the instance name is going to be Cloud Institution and HTTPD. And so we're going to choose one of the Linux images. I'm going to choose Amazon Linux. So you can also choose Ubuntu or Red Hat or any kind of Linux operating systems to install this. And we can also install the same thing on Windows as well. Okay, but for this experiment, we're going to see we are going to use the Amazon Linux instances to be created. Okay, so now we are going to use kind of a default AMI image that has been available for this, and the instance type, I'm going to use the t2.micro, and we have already discussed in the previous classes that so what is t2.micro and what are the different options available to use. But this is a free tier, and I'm going to use this free tier eligible for this purpose. Okay, so the create key pair. So I'm going to create some kind of a new key pair. It's kind of a some kind of simply a key pair. Okay, it doesn't matter much, so I'm going to create a new key pair for this demo. Okay, it's already created a new key pair. So key pair test. Okay, so I just that's a spelling mistake, but that's fine. It doesn't, it's not going to be using no, so it's not going to be using much. So so as you can follow down, so there'll be an option called HTTP traffic. Okay, so what is HTTP traffic from the internet? So this is the security group. So we are going to cover the security group in the later classes maybe. So what is HTTP traffic? So we are allowing for the we are allowing the HTTP traffic to be able to they serve the HTTP requests from the internet to the particular systems. Okay, so I'm going to explain it to you, how this HTTP request works on the security groups. Okay, I'm going to disable and show it to you guys that how the HTTP comes into the picture. Okay, so you can just also choose that 8 GB of ABS volume, which I'm going to use for this for this demo purpose. Okay, so then I'm going to use a launch instance. Okay, so this is all I need to do to create this server. Okay, so EC2 is launching instance. Okay, if you can go to this instance, if you click on this instance, and you can see the instance has already been created. Okay, I've already created and running. So sometimes it'll be showing like so it'll be pending and all these things, but so it's pretty fast at this moment. Is in a running state. Okay, so now I'm going to connect to this instance. Okay, if you want to connect to this instance, you're going to do a click on connect and then EC2 instance connect. Okay, so this one doesn't require any kind of a SSH key files to be able to present for you. So if you wanted to connect using SSH clients, so you'll be requiring the key pair, the key pair files, whatever you created. Okay, so that doesn't matter. So I'm going to create and connect. Okay, so it is just establishing connection for this particular machine. Okay, meanwhile, what are we going to do is that so we are going to test whether this IP address is working or not. Okay, this is the public IP address of this instance. All right, so we have a whenever we are creating whenever we're creating instances, we'll be having a two IP addresses. One is public IP addresses, another one is private IP address. Okay, so I'm going to copy the public IP address of this machine and I'm going to put it in my browser and see whether if something is working or not. Okay, so there is no kind of the application is working, is still loading. Okay, so which means that nothing has been installed on the server. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to do a some kind of I'm going to run some kind of commands on Linux. So the first command which I'm going to do is that yum install HTTPD. So because we are running a EC2 user and it's not an administrative user, this command is not going to work. Okay, it's going to give me an error saying that I have to run it using the administrative privileges. Okay, so now as you can see here, the command doesn't need to run. I need to run with the super user privileges. Okay, you can also use sudo to install this HTTPD. Okay, so if you can give sudo, it will run as an administrator. Okay, so I'm giving sudo yum install HTTPD is the command which I'm using, and it's asking me that so it's telling me that it's going to install all these kind of packages for it. Okay, now you can click yes, Y, and then enter. So you can see all the packages, whatever it is there, will be installing. Okay, now the HTTPD package is installed on this Linux machine. Okay, so now the next step is that we are going to start the HTTPD service. So the first step we have installed, and the next step is going to be starting the HTTPD service. So how are we going to start the HTTPD service? Okay, so again we are going to do sudo and okay, so we have a command called systemctl. So what is systemctl? Because systemctl is the command that is used to start any kind of a start or enable any kind of a services in Linux. Okay, so this is the systemctl and then status and HTTPD. First, I'm going to check the status whether the HTTPD service is running or not. Okay, so whenever you're clicking on HTTPD, yes, this is showing me that the inactive, which is dead. So this HTTPD packages is already installed, but it's been inactive and it's not gonna be available here. Okay, so it's dead. So then I'm going to start the HTTPD service. Okay, so now I've started this HTTPD service. Okay, so now I'm going to copy the same IP address, whatever it is there is the public IP address of this machine. I'm going to put it over here and I'm just entering it. So now you can see it is saying that it works. Okay, which means that we have installed one HTTPD server, and then we have just tested saying that so HTTPD is working fine. And we are also going to do another command which is called HTTPD systemctl. Okay, so enable HTTPD. So sudo systemctl enable HTTPD. Okay, so this is what the command which I'm going to execute for this, for the server. So what is the difference between start and an enable? So systemctl start HTTPD, this command is going to start your HTTPD service at this particular time. Okay, so but if you restart this machine, or if you start this machine, okay, so this services will not be started automatically. Okay, so we want this service has to be running always. So even though the system has been restarted by mistake or intentionally, so this service has to be keep running always. Okay, so that is the reason why we are just enabling the HTTPD service using the command called systemctl enable HTTPD. Okay, so this is what something very important thing which you have to be considered about. So now we have installed HTTPD. Okay, so what's next? So now you can see the browser that it will be showing me that one of the outputs. So what is this where from where this output comes from? Okay, so this output is coming from, okay, where I went. So this output is coming from so Apache default web server page. Okay, so whenever you're running the Apache HTTPD service, so the by default it will be giving me the option that it works. So now we are going to change this HTTP service to, so whatever the what the HTML page we wanted to copy and paste it. So now in order to do that, I'm going to the directory called cd /var www html. Okay, so I'm going inside this directory. Okay, so now if you can see, there is no files are available. Okay, what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to create one file. Okay, so that file is called the touch so index.html. So it's saying that it's permission denied again, so I'm going to use with sudo. Okay, so touch index.html file, I'm going to create it. Now you can see there is one file called index.html file is created. So now if you can see vi index.html file. Okay, so this is showing me that it's a read only, right? So again we have to do like sudo vi index.html. Okay, so now I'm going to copy some kind of a very basic, the very basic kind of a from output. For example, I'm just typing something like cloud institution. Okay, I'm just typing something like a cloud institution here. Okay, so as soon as I just typed cloud institution here, okay, if you can go and refresh this browser, and it will say that so it will show me the output is called cloud institution. Okay, so this is how you can just whenever you're enabling, we are just adding kind of a content over here. That content will be displayed on the browser. Okay, that is why it is called as a HTTP HTTPD service. Okay, so why is called HTTPD service? It serves the request from the HTTPD server, and it will enable you to create so the HTTPD HTTPD web server, right? So now I'm going to add some kind of a very basic HTML file for this purpose. Okay, so I already have one of the basic HTML file which has been from the internet. Okay, I'm just going to copy this particular HTML code, and I'm going to the same file. Okay, I'm going to delete this entire line. I'm going to replace this one with this particular thing. Okay, now this is how you're going to create any kind of a simple HTML file for your purpose. Okay, so now if you can go and refresh this so browser, so it's serving your web pages. My first heading, so my first paragraph, right? So this is the simple HTML file which I have created to show you guys like how the HTML packages will be working from the HTTP service. So this is why it is called as a HTTPD service, as it will be requesting, it will serving the request from your the HTML content. Okay, so now as I mentioned with you before, on which port this particular HTTPD will be working. Okay, So as you can see here, by default it'll be working on the port number 80. So what is 80 and what is 443? So for example, if you can go to the browser and if you can give http and colon slash slash, if you can click on this one, it's going to work the same page, right? But if you can go and check that https, okay, so I'm going to give https and slash, for just to show you, I'm going to put this one in some kind of a different browser. So as you can see, this https is not working. The reason being, the HTTP we have only installed. I mean, one we have only enabled the HTTP request, not HTTPS request. Is what is HTTPS? Just like, for example, if you can go to EC2 instance, if you can go here, you can see HTTPS. The request will be serving, but our website will be working only with HTTP request. Okay, not HTTPS request. So the reason being is that we have to, if you wanted to have a secure connectivity, for your applications, for your web servers, so we have to install some kind of a SSL certificates for your application. Okay, so that is kind of a very deep concept, and we need to buy the SSL certificate, and we have to install this SSL packages, and then only this website will be working. Okay, so my system is running low on battery. Just give me a minute. Okay, so now, okay, now you know that, so now if you can just click on this one. Okay, now it's still serving HTTPS. If you can click on HTTP, and it's kind of working. Okay, so this is how your so this is how your HTTP request will be working. And I'm going to put all these commands, so all these commands, whatever I've been used for this purpose, in the comment below. So you can just use these commands to execute in the Linux, to make sure that your HTTP service is working. Okay, so that is all from this one. In the next session, I'm going to show you that how security group is working, for these instances. So yeah, and we have so in this session we have seen the first is that launching history instance, and second will be like, install HTTPD and start the service, and third will be like, to create a simple HTML file and test it. Okay, so that's all from this demo. Okay, so please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And so if you like to take up any kind of courses, please reach out to us on this number, so we will like to enroll you for any courses. Okay, so thank you so much, and see you again in the next video.